Ladies and gentlemen, today is December 10th, 2013. And that means that we went to the wrong screen. And that means that it is about, what is that, 15 days till Christmas? Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Today is the KNKL Show, and we are going to be working on, learning to be better artists, working on our skills as artists. And today we're going to be going into a topic of drawing simplified bodies, both male and female. Sexy bodies, right? We're going to be focusing on using shapes as opposed to, like, I'm going to show you guys a couple ways that I used to do things that don't work out so well. And then hopefully the way that I do it now can be brought over to you guys and you guys can work with it. But before we get into that, we need to take a stroll down the lovely lane because we got some new amazing pieces sent in, such as Candy Cane Zach. This is freaking awesome. Victor, great job. Thank you for submitting that. I love this. I mean, I'm usually not into furries, but this is a really cool character here. It looks like she has a tail that eats people. That's always makes for a good time. I like this shark guy who's fighting with a shovel. Oh no, he's got Emma's axe. Oh, that's Shark Emma. Oh, Brandon. Oh, you cracked me up. Somebody said they were gonna make a Shark Emma. I did not know it was gonna be coming that quickly. Thank you, Brandon. All right, moving on. We got Annie, Lulu, Link, and oh, another piece. Brandon, just killing it, sending in everything, working with the sweet chalk brush. I can see. So thank you once again to everyone who has submitted your artwork to the KNKL Facebook page. For those of you who have not yet come out of your shells, please consider doing so. If you're watching this on YouTube, simply click the link below. You can check out the Facebook, like it, and you can submit your own art and be featured on the show. Last but not least, I just want to tell you guys, get onto the Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me. Follow me. I'm leading this army of better artists to the horizon, to the kingdom. So join us, and I'll post links of when I'm putting up new videos and all that good jazz. Alright guys, with all that out of the way, I'll stop flapping my gums. Let's go ahead and start working our thumbs. Like that, I just thought of that. Alright, so right here you'll see the things that I was using to just warm up, make sure that the computer was not going to crash on us, like it sometimes does. But with all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and just get into it, okay? So, what I want to talk to you guys about today is sketching while thinking with shapes. Think of shapes when you're drawing bodies. And to start things off, I'm going to make sure that you guys know of a common, I don't want to say it's the wrong way to do things, but this is something that I used to do all the time where I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come up with a pose. I'm going to come up with a pose of a person, right? So I quickly lay out, this is your thing to work with, right? You lay out the stick figure. I don't even know what the heck this is. Okay, so you lay out the stick figure and you connect it with these balls, okay? And then you draw his legs down and then you erase this because this is for children. We don't draw things like that on here. And then you got the knees, okay? So you got your freaking Mickey Mouse stick figure here. And the problem with this thing is when you go to pose it, say you want this guy to be, I don't know, doing anything. It's like, okay, let's have him like swinging a sword, right? So it's like, okay, well, here's his shoulders. So his arms are going to be kind of like this, and then there's going to be like a sword here, and then his legs are going to come out like that. And then it just starts looking like this really kind of hodgepodgey looking piece of crap, and then you start losing track of like what's a line and where's a hand thing supposed to go. And this is a problem that I used to have all the time. I used to draw poses with sticks, with stick figures, okay? But what I want to do today is I want to teach you that this may not, maybe I'm just stick figure challenged, but this is not the way to do it for me. Today what I'm going to show you is how I go about doing it. And we're going to start with the reason why I know you all showed up, sexy ladies. Okay, so, and the reason why I'm going to start with this is because it really shows a lot. It really shows a lot when you're drawing girlish figures, okay? And what I want to talk to you guys about today is drawing with shapes, okay? And this goes into flow as well. Like I did another whole tutorial on flow and all those types of things. But this is basically what I do, right? Like say I'm drawing, I don't even, like you don't even necessarily have to have an exact idea of the pose that you want to do necessarily, right? You just want to practice, right? You just want to practice like getting things to work, okay? Getting things to work and getting things to flow, okay? So this is the way I go about doing stuff, right? I usually come up with, I mean, they always say like the hourglass figure, right? And that's a good place to start, right? For the torso. You know, here's our girl's head, and she's a little bit deformed there. But anyway, we're going to take these shapes up here and we're going to apply them over to here. So a big thing that you want to think about is you want to think about, I don't know exactly know how to say this, because a lot of this stuff is stuff that you can't explain it exactly, but I'll do my best. I'll do my best. So pay attention to what I'm doing here, right? Watch how I draw this leg. It has a lot more to do with drawing shapes. And I always do this thing where, I don't know if anybody else does this, but I'll like point. I'll just bring the feet to a point. Not necessarily that the foot is going to be like that or anything, but you know, I just usually like to keep it simple as shapes. So today we're talking about keeping it simple. Okay, maybe this girl's like prancing through a field of flowers or something. I don't know what she's doing. But anyway. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is legs. A common misconception with legs, and what really helps me to make my legs look, I don't know what the word is, like they look like they have flesh and muscle underneath them. And the way that I do this is I think about the leg in terms of doing this type of thing. Like if I were to really exaggerate it, the leg looks like this, right? Here's the knee, and it goes way back like this, and then the foot kind of sticks out like that. Okay, and I'm sure you guys have seen me do this plenty of times. And that's a gross exaggeration, but it's a step above doing what I used to do, where I was like, okay, here's the thigh, and here's the knee in the center of the leg, right? And then here's the calf, right? And you do that, and then you know it just looks really stiff. It looks like a mannequin. When in actuality, if you look at people's legs, they do have a slight bit of curve to them. They have like an S curve, if you will. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of the first thing that I want to talk about, is just working with these shapes to draw your character first. Work with shapes to draw your character. And you want to think about the flow lines that are running through it, obviously, right? Like this thing is going right through here, and then it flows right out to the leg. That's nice and everything. But also, let's see, what is she going to be doing with her head? Oh, another really good thing to think about when you're drawing the head on a character, you want to think about the back, right? Because your neck is obviously connected to your back. It doesn't come out of the middle of your chest, like your neck doesn't come out of here, right? And then your head is on top of that, right? It's coming from the back. So think about the back coming up like this, and then the neck is going to be right there, okay? Now, what the heck is this girl doing? She's like doing some ballerina move. But anyway, that's not so important. We're just working with flow, okay? We're just working with flow. And another thing that I do is I almost give them like noodle arms. I almost give my characters noodle arms to begin with. And I've noticed maybe the reason why I do this is because, again, it has that S curve that's running through it. You can even see it here. See how the leg comes out? See how the leg comes out like this? And then it kind of goes back in like that. This line goes to the knee and then it dips in, right? It doesn't go out. And I think that, I don't know exactly how to put it, but I'm going to stop saying that because I should know how to put it because I am the teacher. The way that it works, I think, is just, I think, you know, because I haven't done that much. I haven't done that much figure drawing. I've done a little bit of figure drawing, and it really does help. It really does help to know the, it really helps to know the complicated parts. It really helps to know the complicated versions of your anatomy right before you begin to go ahead and simplify it, right? Let's go ahead and draw these boobs on here. Got to make sure it's a woman. This ain't no prancing man. Okay, so anyway, it's good to know the details and like the complexities of the anatomy. But then once you know those complexities, I really like to just simplify the heck out of it. And a really good way that, let me show you another tip for drawing girls' legs that I really like. Okay, so there we go. We've got our dancing, happy, frolicking lady over here. Something that really helps me with drawing like the hips and connecting the legs to the girl's body is I really like to do it like this. I'll do the hourglass shape, right, down like this. And this is really fun because you can come up with all kinds of different shapes of the hourglass, right? You can have like really, really wide hips and then like a tiny upper torso, you know, depending on what type of style you want to do, right? And you can have like the arms coming out like this. And this is really how I go about drawing stuff. I draw stuff with shapes first. Draw stuff with shapes, and I draw stuff with flow first. Okay? But anyway. Okay, so you got your big hip lady. So let me show you how to connect the legs to this torso. It's very, very easy. And it makes your legs look really sexy. So, and then we'll move on to dudes. Which I know may be why 10% of you showed up. But regardless, we got to cover everything. Okay, so you got your hourglass right here, right? And then you want to draw almost, I like to think of it as like a swimsuit, right? So it just comes right in like this. And then it meets, you know, the crotchal region. And then your legs come right down like that. Legs come down like that. And then again, I've said this many times in a lot of tutorials, you want to think about the S that's going through the legs. So there's an S that is going to run through these legs like this, okay? So it comes right from here and goes down and out. Down and out, okay? And then you'll have the calf muscle, which comes out like that, and this calf muscle, which comes out like that. And what really looks good, actually, is when you bring the legs, like the legs of the girl, together. Like try to bring, I mean, if they're just standing there, obviously, you're not going to be drawing, you know, people usually don't just stand like straight up like this, but, you know, if you're practicing, it's good to just kind of bring the legs together like this. Like this. And again, look, I'm not worrying about drawing feet. It's got stumps for feet. I don't care. I don't care, neither should you. Neither should you. Okay, so that's basically how I like to go about drawing legs. With flow to them, and it puts weight on them as well. It puts weight on the legs as well, which is another characteristic that I think a lot of the way that I used to draw figures and stuff, it just lacked. It lacked the ability to have weight. And I think when you think of this S curve that's running through the legs, it just has that weight sitting on top of the legs. So, anyway, let me move that up a little bit more so you can see the bottom of the feet. Alright, so there you go. There you go. I call this the swimsuit technique. You want to think about it as like a one-piece swimsuit. It's a really easy thing to remember. And then the really cool thing is as the legs bend, they basically just stay on that line. So like if I were to draw another body really quickly, let's go ahead and move everything over. So if I were to draw that same body again, right? Let's draw that same hourglass shape like this. And let's draw just really quickly an arm there. There we go. So again, think about the swimsuit. It goes like this, and then it goes up like that. Now you're thinking in 3D. Okay, think in 3D. So this is the center line going right up like this. There's the chest. And then as the leg bends, right, as the leg bends, you'll see that little line that goes right across there. In fact, basically, let's just draw her naked. Let's just get her naked. Why not? So that line, as the leg bends, it just goes right up the hip, right? That line will show up right there. And that makes your hips look really nice. And then again, on this side, it's really important that you capture the leg. So here's the hip coming down, and I want you guys to remember this. There's the hip bone that comes down like that, and then the leg comes off of that, like this, right? So you have this effect happening. So it goes in, and then it goes out again. So there's the hip, and then here's the leg, right? And then there's that line of the swimsuit that connects the leg. And there you go. There you go. She'd probably have to be leaning on something to have her legs out like that. Yeah, she's just casually leaning on something, just chilling. She's like, "Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm just chilling here naked. What of it?" All right, guys. So let's go ahead and move into dudes, because the dudes also have some good, really good simple shapes to remember as we go into it. And then I want you guys to notice also how messy I work in the beginning. Like I'm not in here drawing, and again, this is something I say all the time. It's not like I'm not in here drawing the face, you know, like, oh, well, yeah, she's got to be really hot, right? She's got to be really hot. Let's give her like these sexy lips. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. So I'm not in there drawing details at first. I really believe that the biggest parts of your drawing and just the way that you lay it out has a lot to do with getting the major shapes at first, getting the major flow of everything, and don't worry about everything being perfect at the beginning. It's like, look, this elbow is way too far out, but I can easily fix that in this stage. This is what I call line sculpting. It's like the elbow should only come out to about right there. So we just do that, and then I just erase it back up. See? Like I just changed the shape of that arm without having to be like, okay, well here's the head, and then here's the thing, the stick figure method, and then this doesn't give you any depth. This doesn't give you any, you know, no shapes to work with, and it's a really clunky, crappy way. And now looking back, I can realize why I couldn't pose anything off of it, because it's not good. It's not good. It's like trying to build a house with a screwdriver as opposed to a power drill. You just don't. Make sure you're using the right tools to your advantage. All right, so let's move on to manly men. Manly men. I'm going to move this over, and we're going to draw our dudes with red. Blood red. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started on this. Okay, so with guys, what's really fun to do is, you know how girls have the hourglass shape, right? And you can play around with all kinds of different shapes to make different types of bodies. For guys, however, what's really cool is you have almost this, guys have this very like V shape. Guys are almost like a V shape that comes down, right? And then it sits on top of, you know, the legs. And I really like to think about it like this. Like if you were to think of like a guy one-piece bikini, it would basically look like this, right? So it comes down, you have the guy's hips, and then the legs are going to come right off of there. See? There's your guy's legs. And then you're going to have, obviously, you know, the arms sticking off like this. And again, look at how I just draw arms. That's literally how I will draw arms at the beginning. Like tentacle man, I don't know. Blob man arms. And then we have the neck, which comes up like this, if he's sort of a muscly man. And you got the head, which sits on top. Okay? And then you'll have the shoulders. It's really cool. The way that muscles work, I absolutely love the way that muscles work on like dudes' pecs, and just like the way that the muscles flow from the shoulder to the pec. It's really awesome. It creates like a pattern like this, where it basically goes like that, like here's the shoulder, and then it goes into the pec like that. You know, it's really cool. You guys should definitely, for those of you studying anatomy, make sure you watch out for that. That's how I remember things. I just remember, oh yeah, that's the little pattern that happens. It just kind of comes off of the shoulder and then it does that. But anyway, we're not here to talk too much about muscles because I'm not the best at them. I have a lot more to learn about that. But today, yes, we're talking specifically about shapes. Okay, so moving on. Now that we know the basics of the guy's torso shape, let's go ahead and do the same thing. Let's pose our dude in a cool pose. Let's move him down there. Okay, so now that we have our guy, let's see. Let's have our guy wielding the sword. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, watch, I'll draw the head on right here. And then let's figure out how we want him to be holding the sword. Right? Maybe he'll have it out like, maybe he'll have it out like this, right? So we'll have the sword here. It'll be going down like that. Let's make sure we give him his nice large shoulder muscles. And then we want to think about this shape. So it's going to come down like this. All right. Draw his one-piece swimsuit. And then we'll draw his legs out like this, okay? Again, we're just focusing on shapes, okay? So one foot will be kind of back here, the other one maybe over here, okay? And notice how once again, I'm not worrying about drawing feet necessarily, I'm just placing them. I'm placing, thinking about where this foot is going to exist in space, because one foot is here, the other foot is here. And his head, like a good way to base where your balance should be is drop a line, like imagine there was like a plumb line hanging from the back of your character's head and touching the floor, right? So it would be touching right there, okay? And that is almost like that's the point of your balance. So you want to make sure that where the feet are placed, it will actually hold him up. Otherwise he's going to topple over this way or topple over that way, okay? So now I want you to look at this, because we've basically laid out this drawing in a matter of a minute. And now I want to ask you, what is strong about this? What is working well and what is not? Well, looking at what we've done so far, I really like this sense of flow that's happening right here. This flow line that's coming right from the foot and it's going up. Now something that I want to do with that is, I feel that that's a very strong point of the drawing, of this pose. So what I want to do is I actually want to increase it. I want to exaggerate it. So in order to exaggerate it, I'm going to move this shoulder over here like this. I'm going to move the shoulder like that, and then I'm going to move his whole arm over like this, okay? Move his whole arm, his whole shoulder, everything over a little bit. And let's see what that gives us. Might give us something more like that. And the second thing that I like is how he's kind of like raising the sword, but I feel like it could be a little bit better. Could be a little bit better. So let's go ahead and do one of these things. Maybe his arm would be up like this. Maybe not. Let's see. What's going to work well here? Could the sword be going like that? No. I like it better going down. It looks cool going down, but I'm trying to figure out how to make it work. Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about making this look perfect. Because the point is, just trying to teach you guys how to draw with shapes. Draw with shapes and don't draw stick figures. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. It's actually looking a little short. I think that's what it is. So look at this. We're going to use the magic of the lasso tool. We're going to enlarge our manly man. We're going to go ahead and make his legs a little bit longer. So his legs will now come up to right there. And the other leg is going to come out like that. Yeah, it's working a little bit better. Oh yeah, I like that. Cool. Alright, and I don't know what this guy is. Is he like a freaking samurai or something? I don't know. Samurai, why not? He's a samurai. Naked samurai. How to draw a naked samurai. Sorry if that is derogatory to anybody's culture. That's what we do on the show. Okay, so his hand would have to be like that, and then the hilt of the sword would be like that, and the blade would come down. Sort of like that. Okay? And we can just always build the armor on top of him, you know, however that armor looks. But, yeah, I really want you guys to just notice what's working well here. And I really want you guys to just pay attention to the overall silhouette. I think really that's where this technique comes into play the most, is that it really quickly gives you a gauge of the silhouette of the character, because that's the first thing that you look at as the viewer. And then you ask yourself, does that silhouette make sense? Does that silhouette look like it could exist in real time and space and all that good stuff? And if the answer is yes, then that means that you have succeeded. If the answer is no, that means you might want to stop drawing stick people. Okay, so anyway. And then from here, it's basically just cleanup. I'm just cleaning up, trying to figure out what works well, what doesn't work. And if I need to, I'll just be like, hey, let's just draw another pose. Let's just draw another pose. See how simple that is? See how, you know, it is starting to come together a little bit better now. But looking at yourself in the mirror, that's something I always do. If I'm always having trouble with a pose or just something that's looking a little bit weird, I'll just go up to the mirror. I have a full body mirror, and I'll just like stand or just do the pose really quick and just notice how my leg actually like holds the weight or how I'm balancing myself. You know, and that always really helps too. So I would suggest that to you guys as well if you're having some trouble with that. So I'm liking this, but I really don't like this foot. This foot looks really stupid. Probably gonna want a little something more like that. See? Just a shape. Just a shape. And you just flip it. Now it looks a little bit better. Yeah. It's good. Alrighty, people. So with that, I hope that helps you out with some of your ladies and men. In the last few minutes, I'm going to take question catapults. Please cast your questions over the castle walls. I'll answer them, and then we'll end today's daily. Number 135. Yeah. 15 days till Christmas. 15 days till Christmas. 15 days till Christmas. Okay. Epic outro music. Inconspicuous load up. I really need to just get that thing loaded up at the beginning. Okay. T.I. Pride is asking, what size is your tablet? Can you show it up on the webcam? Yes. I'm using a medium size Wacom Intuos 4, I think. I think this is the 7 by 10. I don't know what it is, but it's the medium size one. And I really like this. I really like this a lot. It's really good for, because I've worked with like the big ones, and I feel like you just have to move your hand around too much. And then the small ones, you're just like right up on it, and you gotta have your head like down on the desk and like looking at what you're drawing. It doesn't work very well to me, or for me. Medium is just right. Just right. All right. Last question I'm going to take is a couple questions. The little Krona is asking, how would you or could you draw this with GIMP while using a mouse easily? I used to actually do digital art with a mouse, but I didn't draw with the mouse. I used to draw on paper and then scan it in and then just color with the mouse. I really don't suggest drawing with the mouse. It's so like hard to use this and like draw stuff, and just like you just can't do it. There's not the same amount of precision, at least for me. I know there's a lot of people that can work, you know, with Illustrator and stuff, but that's more designer based. So I would try to shy away from drawing with a mouse. Just drop the money. If you're gonna be a digital artist, drop the money, drop the $400 or whatever you gotta get this tablet, and then become a digital artist. You will praise yourself. You will be like, yes, what was I doing without this for so long? I didn't even know tablets existed for a long time. I was like, how do people do this with the mouse? How do they do it? All right. What was the last question? Oh, too refined. This will be the last question. Then to end. Sorry, I can't take all your questions. He's asking, how much time did it take for me to make the Emma Holiday card, which you can see right here on the little screen? This took me about a week to do. On and off, probably working about 4 or 5 hours a day. So, but you guys can go back and you can watch the time lapse, and everything that I started with, all the posing, all the flow and the composition was all drawn like this. It was all drawn like this at the very beginning. And that's why I really want to pass this over to you guys and say, yes, just try this, try this. Don't get so caught up in getting everything perfect at the beginning, getting all the details right. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to draw some stupid looking leg or whatever, you know, and then fix it, and then try something else. Because the worst thing that happens is that, you know, the minute that you took to draw that, you just draw another one, and then the mistake that you made on that one, you'll take it over and you'll just get better and better and better. Okay. Alrighty, peoples. Thank you for joining me live on the KNKL Twitch stream as usual. People on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. I'll see you tomorrow for Whatever Wednesday. I think I might have pretty fun idea plan. But we'll just have to see how that turns out. Till then, you guys take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.